Hello, 6th primary students. Let's continue our science curriculum for the second term تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. تعالوا بينا النهارده إن شاء الله we are going to sum up and revise Unit 1. Unit 1 was talking about force and motion, and in this unit we talked about two lessons. The first one was called types of levers, and in the second lesson, we talked about law of levers. تعالوا نفتكر المعلومات اللي اتعلمناها. أول حاجة خالص we talked about discovery of levers. We have a great scientist that was called Archimedes. He discovered the first simple machine. Why he discovered it? To make the daily tasks easily, to perform tasks easily. طب why we called it simple machine? Because it doesn't need electricity to work. Okay? We called this machine lever. طب what is the lever? Lever must be a rigid bar. يعني ايه rigid bar? Rigid bar يعني hard and strong bar. لازم تاخد بالك من كلمة rigid bar because it's your keyword to the levers. It's your keyword. Levers equal rigid bar. تمام؟ طيب. This rigid bar moves around or rotates around a fixed point called fulcrum. Fixed point equal fulcrum. And we abbreviate it as O. Affected by two forces, effort force and resistance force. Effort force abbreviated as F ودايما هنقول عليها force. Resistance force abbreviated as R, and we always say resistance. Then we talked about importance of levers. وقلنا ان كده وكده levers they help us to perform tasks easily. طب ازاي we perform tasks easily? By increasing force, increasing speed, increasing distance, move force from one place to another, avoid dangers or accuracy in performance. لازم تبقى عارف كل importance من دول related لأنهي example. For example, move force from one place to another. Your example is the manual broom. And increase accuracy. Your example is tweezers. Avoid dangers. Your example is coal holder. Okay? طيب أهم واحدة فيهم مين؟ أهم واحدة فيهم increase force because it can have a lot of meanings. Like what? Like conserve effort, saves effort, has mechanical benefit or increase force. كل الحاجات دي equal. بعد ما تعرفنا يعني ايه lever أصلا, we started talking about the types or classes of levers. We said that we have 3 types of levers. الفرق ما بينهم ايه? Always look to the location of fulcrum, force and resistance. Always focus on them. في first class lever we would have the fulcrum. In between, the fulcrum is in between force and resistance. Fulcrum افتكرهم كده ORF. ORF. في first class lever O is in between. O اللي هي الفulcrum. Second class lever R is in between which is the resistance. F. Third class lever force in between. تمام؟ طيب في first class lever عندي examples كتيرة جدا جدا. أي tool تتحط قدامك do not ever think it's first or second or third class lever without looking to the fulcrum, force and resistance. لازم أحدد مكان الفulcrum والforce والresistance, then I answer it's first or second or third class lever. Let's look to this tool. This tool, it's a fixing tool and the fulcrum is in the middle. قلت لكم دايما الفulcrum هو المكان اللي بيبقى مثبت ال two bars together. يعني if it's a scissor, the place of the nail that fix the two bars together, it's the fulcrum. طب the location of my hand, it's the effort force. The location of the object, it's the resistance. طيب تعالوا نبص closely على التول دي. في حاجة كنا خدناها اسمها force arm and resistance arm. What is the force arm? Force arm is the distance from the force to the fulcrum. Resistance arm, it is the distance from the resistance to the fulcrum. طب لو بصينا هنا you can see that the force arm is bigger than resistance arm. الفورس arm كبيرة طويلة. Okay? So we can say that the force is smaller than resistance. علمتك إن دايما الارمز عكس الفورسز. So we can say that this tool saves effort, conserves effort or has mechanical benefit. طيب يعني ايه it has mechanical benefit؟ عرفت منين؟ هنا he says that we have or we do small force to carry big load. We do small force. أنا بعمل force صغننة. The force is small. طب when you look to the second picture, it's a balance. The fulcrum is in between, so it's first class lever. You can easily observe that here the force arm will be equal to resistance arm, so the force will be equal to the resistance. وده ما بيحصلش أبداً إن الفورس تبقى equal to the resistance except in the first class lever. يبقى لما أشوف equal أبقى متأكد إن هو بيتكلم على ال first class lever. And it doesn't save effort. If I must carry a 10 Newton load and I exerted 10 Newton force يبقى أنا كده ما عملتش حاجة. Okay, it doesn't save effort. طب let's look to the third picture. And this one خلي بالك مكان إيدي هي مكان الفورس والفورس arm هي اللي قريبة من إيدي. You can observe that the force arm is smaller than resistance arm. The force arm shorter than resistance arm. So we can say that the force is bigger than resistance. يعني if I must carry a load 10 Newton or cut a load 10 Newton, I exert 20 Newton. يبقى for sure it doesn't save effort. يبقى first class lever على حسب الإكزامبل اللي قدامي I will decide if it save effort, doesn't save effort, or the force will be equal to the resistance. السكند كلاس ليفر لذيذ جدا. احنا اتفقنا مين اللي في النص في السكند كلاس ليفر؟ احنا قلنا ORF يبقى R. So in the second class lever the resistance is between force and fulcrum. اوكي؟ طيب الاكزامبلز كان عندي كتير جدا. اهم واحد فيهم النات كراكر والويل بارو. If you look to the nut cracker you can easily observe that the force arm will always be longer than resistance arm لان انا هنا الفورس والريزيستنس دايما في النص فدايما الفورس arm هتبقى اطول من الريزيستنس arm. So the force will always be smaller than resistance. ده معناها ان السكند كلاس ليفر احلى نوع ليفرز because it always conserves effort. It always conserves effort. طب الثيرد كلاس ليفر؟ In the third class lever احنا قلنا ORF F يبقى force is between fulcrum and resistance. طيب let's take an example, the tweezers. If you look at the tweezers مين دايما في النص؟ effort force. The effort force أو force arm will be always shorter than resistance arm. Let's look. Force arm will be always shorter than resistance arm. So the force will be bigger. The force will be bigger than resistance. يبقى it will always doesn't save effort. عندي 3 أنواع من الليفرز. واحد دايما بيسيف effort اللي هو السكند كلاس ليفر. واحد دايما مش بيسيف effort doesn't save effort اللي هو third class lever. And the first one it has 3 cases. Sometimes it save, sometimes it doesn't save, sometimes force will be equal to the resistance. Then we studied the law of levers. والlaw of levers كان مهم جدا because we use it to solve some problems. In this law we say that force times its arm equal resistance times its arm. طيب where is the force arm and where is the resistance arm? If you look at the picture, the distance between the force and the fulcrum, the distance between the force and the fulcrum, خلي بالكم الفورس مكتوبة في الصورة effort. It's the force arm. And the distance between resistance and fulcrum, it is the resistance arm. عايزة أفكركم بحاجة إن resistance sometimes in the picture it will be written as load عشان ما تتلخبطوش لما تشوفوها في الأسئلة. طيب let's answer some questions. Are you ready؟ عايزاكم تفكروا بسرعة وما تتسرعوش في الإجابة. مش معنى إن أنا بفكر بسرعة إن أنا هتسرع إن أنا أختار أي حاجة وخلاص. دايما تحط الفالكرم والفورس والريزيستنس وتبتدي تشتغل. Calculate the value of resistance arm. Your problem is the force affecting on a second class lever equals 200 Newton, the length of its arm equal 50 centimeter, and a resistance equals 1000 Newton. Calculate the value of resistance arm. أول حاجة خالص you have to write your rule. What's my rule? My rule says that force times its arm equal resistance times its arm. Then هعمل مارجن لنفسي ابتدي اطلع الجيفنز اللي عندي. اول حاجه عندي الفورس 200 نيوتن، فورس ارم 50 سنتيمتر، ريزيستنس 1000 نيوتن and resistance arm is unknown. هي دي اللي أنا عايزة أحسبها. Let's put the numbers in the problem. Force 200 times، اوعى تتلخبط وتعمل plus، times its arm 50 سنتيمتر equal resistance 1000 نيوتن times its arm. هنحطها زي ما هي resistance arm. هنعمل ايه؟ هنخلي resistance arm لوحدها in one side then and we will take the 1000 to the other side. هتبقى عاملة ازاي؟ 200 times 50 divided 1000 يعني 10,000 divided 1000 which is equal ل 10 سنتيمتر. طبعا الارقام دي you are going to calculate it using your calculator very easily. اتاكد تاني ان انا كتبت اليونت صح. I'm calculating the resistance arm, its distance, so centimeter. Yes, it's the right unit. مهم جدا تتاكد انك كاتب اليونت صح. اوكي؟ Let's answer some choose questions. أهم حاجة في التشوز ما تتسرعش. أسئلة التشوز بتخدع شوية، بتخليك حاسس إيه ده دي سهلة قوي، يلا let's choose anything. Don't do this. يلا بينا نحل مع بعض choose. Let's read our first question. Choose the right answer. Question number 1 says choose the lever that always doesn't conserve effort. نركز. That always doesn't conserve effort. We have 3 choices. عايزاك تفكر على طول أول ما تلاقي سؤال على types of levers تعمل لنفسك كده draft تكتب O R F. مين ال O R F؟ This is the first class lever, second class lever, third class lever. Here I'm searching for a type of lever that doesn't conserve effort. يبقى I'm searching for third class lever. يعني I'm searching for a lever where the force is between fulcrum and resistance. Here I'm searching for the force. This one fulcrum يبقى wrong. This one resistance يبقى wrong. This one force يبقى this is the right answer. So let's see the answer. This is the right answer. طيب let's move to the other slide. Question number 2. When the force arm is longer than resistance arm, the lever has mechanical benefit, doesn't save effort, force and resistance are equal. طيب تعالوا نترجم السؤال في الدرافت بتاعي برضو. لازم تبقى فاهم الأسئلة كويس جدا. مش عايزة حد خالص يحل من غير ما يفكر. When the force arm is longer than resistance arm, here let's write force arm longer than resistance arm. So the force is smaller than resistance. When the force is small يبقى it saves effort. It saves effort يعني it has mechanical benefit. يبقى my answer is A, has mechanical benefit. Question number 3. The resistance is between fulcrum and force in bottle opener, plier, tweezers or balance. طيب تعالوا نكتب الدرافت بتاعنا بسرعة. In your draft you have to write مين هم التلاتة بتوعي؟ O R F. Here we are talking about resistance is between resistance يبقى we are talking about second class lever. يبقى I'm searching for an example of second class lever. تقدر ترسمهم على جنب وتعرف مين فيهم السكند كلاس lever أو تبقى أصلا فاكرهم من الإكزامبلز and you can choose. In this question we have the bottle opener which is the second class lever, plier دي شبه السيزرز يبقى first class, tweezers third class, balance is first class lever. So my right answer is bottle opener. Question number 4. Space is the distance between force and fulcrum. I told you whenever you see distance يبقى you know we are talking about arm. Which arm? Resistance arm ولا force arm؟ هنا هو بيقول force, so my answer is force arm. Question number 5. Space is an example of lever that increase accuracy. يعني ايه increase accuracy؟ بيخليني اعرف اشتغل بدقة. Okay? Let's look to the answers. Manual broom, nutcracker, tweezers, crowbar. Which one helped me to increase accuracy? Yes, it's the tweezers. It's the tweezers. حلو جدا. طيب match column A with column B. كل أسئلة الMCQ بتخدمك في إنك تتأكد إنك فاهم كويس وعارف الفروقات. عايزاك تاخد بالك من حاجه، الماتشنج ده تريكي جدا. ليه؟ because in column A we have more answers than column B. فهنا هيبقى عندي 2 answers مالهمش اختيار، فلازم تبقى مركز جدا انك بتختار صح. Let's see first class liver. The first class liver نقرا الاول التشويسز اللي عندي كلها. Livers that always conserve effort, livers that never conserve effort, livers that have the fulcrum between force and resistance, the distance between force and fulcrum, fix a point that a rigid bar sits on, a rigid bar rotate around a focal point and affected by force and resistance, a force result from the weight of the object we want to affect. لما تقرا التشويسز عندك ابتديت تكون فكره. كل اللي بيقول ليفر في بدايته ده يبقى هو بيتكلم على الكلاسز، اللي بيقول distance يبقى بيتكلم على الارم، fixed point يبقى بيتكلم على fulcrum، rigid bar يبقى بيتكلم على الليفر، وفورس يبقى يا اما بيتكلم على الافورت فورس او ريزيستنس فورس. تعالوا نشوف. First class lever. In the first class lever it's a lever where the fulcrum، لو انتوا فاكرين للمره يعني قلتها لكم اكتر من مره لازم تركزوا. اول ما ابتدي اتكلم على 3 classes اكتب لي الاو ار اف عشان تبقى عارف الفيرست كلاس lever it's the fulcrum is in between. The fulcrum is in between. تمام؟ So first class lever it's the lever that have the fulcrum between force and resistance. طب السكند كلاس lever يبقى انا عندي 2 choices اهم بفكر فيهم. السكند كلاس lever ده حلو جدا. It always conserve effort. طيب الثيرد كلاس lever it always doesn't conserve effort. طب هل ده معناه ان هو ملوش لازمه؟ لا، it has another benefit. It doesn't increase force but maybe it increases speed like the hockey bat. It maybe increase accuracy like the tweezers. Okay, so it has another benefit. The levers، فاكرين الليفر؟ قلت لكم الكي وورد بتاعتك lever equal rigid bar. تمام. The force احنا متفقين يعني ايه force؟ force it's the effort force. لو هو ما قاليش غير كلمه force يبقى هو بيتكلم على الeffort force. طب الeffort force is the force exerted by the person. انا عندي هنا force result from the weight of the object، يبقى مش هي دي، ممكن دي ما اختارهاش خالص. طب the resistance، yes resistance is a force result from the weight of the object، يبقى 6G. The fulcrum fulcrum so it is the fixed point or focal point، it's E. resistance arm وforce arm دول الاختيارين اللي فاضلين لي. and here I have the distance between force and fulcrum. force and fulcrum يبقى طالما هنا لقيت distance يبقى انا بتكلم على الارم. force and fulcrum يبقى force arm، يبقى the answer is 9. تمام. put true or false in front of the following sentences. هنكتب الكي بتاعنا على طول طالما بنتكلم على الليفرز عشان ما نتلخبطش. O R F، واوعى تنسى ان الاور دي معناها fulcrum والار resistance والF force، مش fulcrum، الF force. تمام. Let's read the first question. The first class lever have the resistance between the force and the fulcrum. في الفيرست كلاس عندي resistance between. No, it's wrong. The second question. The second class lever has the force between the resistance and the fulcrum. السكند كلاس R يبقى مفروض الريزيستنس في النص، هنا بيقول the force so it's also wrong. Let's see the third question. The third class lever have the fulcrum between the force and the resistance. الثيرد كلاس F يبقى أنا مفروض يبقى عندي الفورس between fulcrum and resistance so this one is also wrong. طيب question number 4. The crowbar is an example of the first class lever. فاكرين الكروبار كان عامل ازاي؟ الكروبار it was a stick standing on a small rock to move a big load and it was an example of the first class lever so it's true question. Number 5. If the arm of the force is smaller than the arm of the resistance then the lever conserve the effort. لازم السؤال ده تترجمه لساين عشان تقدر تحله بسهولة. Let's do it. If the arm of the force يعني force arm is smaller than the arm of the resistance, smaller than the arm of the resistance, then the lever conserve the effort. تعالوا بسرعة نقلبها يبقى الفورce bigger than resistance يبقى it doesn't conserve effort. يبقى this one is wrong. Let's move to complete the following sentences. The wheelbarrow is an example of the space levers. لو انت فاكر الويلبارو كانت عربية بيبقى ماسكها شخص، يعني هنا الافورت فورس، وبعدين على الطرف خالص الفالكرم، وفي النص الريزيستنس. لو انت كاتب الكيز بتاعتك هتعرف بسهولة تحلها. Let's write our keys O R F. اوكي؟ احنا اتفقنا ان الريزيستنس هي اللي في النص. So whenever we have the resistance in between, it's a second class lever. It's a second class lever. Question number 2. The manual broom is an example of space lever. The manual broom, I fixed this hand, I move this one, and the resistance is on the ground. This one, the moving hand, it's the effort force. So effort in between, force in between, it's a third class lever. Question number 3. The crowbar is an example of space lever. Crowbar, خلاص احنا بقينا حافظينه sum. Crowbar is an example of the first class lever. Question number 4. The force times its arm equal space times space. ده هنا بيتكلم على law of levers. لازم تبقى حافظه sum. The force times its arm equals the resistance times its arm. تمام؟ طيب. The type of lever where the arm of the force can be equal to the arm of the resistance. قلت لكم الكيس بتاعت equal دي ما بتحصلش إلا إمتى؟ إلا في first class lever where the fulcrum is exactly in between the force and resistance، أو أقدر أقول when the force arm equal to resistance arm، أو when force equal to resistance. It's the first class lever. 6. Space is a type of lever that always conserve effort, while space is a type of lever that always doesn't conserve effort. مين الشاطر اللي كان دايما بيconserve effort؟ It is the second class lever. ومين اللي كان دايما doesn't conserve effort؟ It is the third class lever. Question number 7. The force and the resistance can be equal if. طالما احنا قلنا equal يبقى انا هنا بتكلم على الفيرست كلاس ليفر. امتى تبقى الفورس والريزيستنس equal؟ لما الفورس arm تبقى equal to resistance arm، او اقولها بطريقه ثانيه اقدر اقول when the fulcrum is exactly in between force and resistance. Question number 8. Space is an example of first class lever, while space is an example of second class lever. أي example للfirst class lever the easier one is scissors. okay? طيب second class lever خلاص حفظناها some. النut cracker. Nut cracker because it saves effort. okay? Classify the following machines according to the type of lever and circle the objects that always save effort. خلي بالك انت هنا عندك two steps. أول step you are going to classify the following machines. هتقول هي first ولا second ولا third class lever, then you will circle it if it save effort. طيب تعالوا نبص هنا بسرعة الفيشنج تول. ممكن تبقى أصلا فاكرها خلاص انت ذاكرتها كويس قوي وبقيت عارف هي first ولا second ولا third class، وممكن ما تبقاش عارف فهتبتدي تبص على الصورة. This hand in this hand it's a fixed one. تعالوا نعملها على طول. This hand it's fixed. So this hand is the fulcrum. This hand is moving. So this hand is the force. And here the front one it's the resistance. It's the resistance. يبقى كده نقدر نقول in force is in between fulcrum and resistance. يبقى it's third class lever. It's third class lever. طيب does it save effort? No, it doesn't save effort. Let's move to this one. fulcrum in between. يبقى first ولا second ولا third? This one it's first class lever. Does it conserve effort or no? لازم نرجع نبص هنا. الفورس arm كبيرة يبقى الفورس صغيرة، يبقى this one saves effort. This one saves effort. عرفت منين؟ بص تاني كده بعينك، كل دي force arm ودي resistance arm. هنا force arm is bigger. When the force arm is bigger, this means it saves effort. يبقى this one saves effort. Let's see the third picture. The third picture, it's a second class lever. طبعا تقدر تطبقها. لازم قبل ما تقرر هي انهي نوع تحط الفالكرم والريزيستنس والافورت فورس بتاعتك، وتقدر تحدد هي انهي نوع. وكده وكده السكند كلاس ليفر all of them they conserve effort. all of them they conserve effort. طب تعالوا بسرعه نفتكر تاني. هنا ده كان البليس of fulcrum and here was the place of resistance and I catch it from here, so this is the place of the force. Resistance is between. يبقى second class lever it always saves effort. تمام؟ تعالوا نكمل مع بعض آخر سؤال. طيب the last question I want you to try this problem with me. Calculate the value of the affecting force. The arm of the force of a third class lever equals 5 centimeter and the length of the arm of the resistance equal 15 centimeter and it's affected by a resistance force equal 300 Newton. أول حاجة هنعملها underline your numbers then write your rule. الرول بتاعتي بتقول إيه؟ force times its arm equal resistance times its arm. بعد كده هعمل إيه؟ أجي على الدرافت أطلع كل البيانات اللي عندي. الفورس هو أصلا بيقول لي calculate the affecting force، يبقى الفورس is unknown. its arm أرجع للبروبلم هلاقيه بيقول لي the arm of force is 5 centimeter. Then resistance 300 نيوتن. هو في البروبلم كان قايل لي arm of resistance equal 15 سنتيمتر. هاخد الارقام احطها جوه تحت الرول. force times 5 equal 300 times 15. الفورس هو اللي انا عايزها، يبقى هخليها في سايد لوحدها واخد الارقام كلها في السايد التاني. يبقى force equal 300 times 15 divided 5 equal 900 نيوتن. تمام؟ عايزاكم تبقوا مركزين جدا وانتوا بتحلوا. الدرس ده ممتع جدا، لازم تجربوا تحلوا بايديكم، لازم تجرب تحط تولز قدامك وتحدد الفالكرم والريزيستنس والفورس. دي لعبه and try to do it with yourself and decide is it first or second or third class lever, does it save effort or it doesn't save effort. Try this game next time. إن شاء الله we are going to move to unit 2. See you next time.